everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of Daisy Knits. We are hanging out in the floor of my neighbor room, shops behind me, and quite honestly, all around. I leave tomorrow for Fiber U, and I gotta pack all this stuff up, and I've been dying like a crazy woman the last week and a half, because apparently I can't count. Let's just be honest. I had it in my brain that I had an extra week. And then I turned the calendar, July 1st hit, and I turned the calendar and I was like, holy crap, I don't have an extra week. I need to get all this done now. So I have died about 10 pounds in the last week, and it is everywhere. Just everywhere. I'm looking all around going, oh my gosh, I have to pack all of this now. Anyways, enough complaining and meandering. It's July 7th, and it's a Thursday, and we are hanging out together. And we are going to talk about some fun things. So, the knitting first. I have a hoe. I got a sock. It finished. Let's see if I can get that pattern to show up. There we go. This is the Three-Legged Race by Megan Williams. I will say it's her pattern mostly. I did a toe up, followed that pattern until I hit the heel. And I did a German short row garter stitch heel instead of the OMG heel that she wrote in the pattern. Because quite honestly, when it was time to do the heel, I was watching a movie with my family and my brain couldn't process the instructions of the OMG heel. So I think I did it 3 times and I frogged it 3 times and I had something wonky. So I said, forget it. I know how to do this heel. I'm just going to roll with it. So I don't have the pretty heel that she had or the pattern work that went up the back of the leg. But the front of the leg looks the same, right? That's what I rolled with. Now this is Happy Go Lucky yarn, and it is her glittery base in the Bajoran wormhole. Let's see if I can not cover my own face up. Also, a little FYI for y'all, Stellina is the non-metallic sparkle that's in the sock. So that sparkle that you see is what is Stellina. I finished this off, I bound it off Tuesday while the kids were at kickball camp and promptly cast on sock number 2. I'm not very far into sock number 2 because, quite honestly, I just haven't sat down and knit that much, but I'm making progress. So that's flying off the needles. I really like the pattern. I've got it in my brain now. I really like it and I can just zoom. That's been pretty much my only knitting to right now. I will say that that's going to be slightly backburnered a little because I don't like to knit with other people's yarn in my booth. And I know that sounds kind of weird and a little, I don't want to say conceited, but it kind of is. Sorry. When I'm at a show, I want to knit with the yarn that I sell and my yarn. So I went rummaging and stash diving. And I actually found 2 little skeins of yarn. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to do toes and cuffs out of this gray and then use the blue for the foot and leg. And I'm going to do these concurrent. So I'll cast on the toe and work it up with the inside of the ball. And then I'll cast on the toe, work it up with the outside of the ball. And then I will switch over and I will work so far on this with one sock. And then I'll pull from the inside and the outside at the same time, working them concurrent. It's probably a long-winded explanation of concurrent, but that's the game plan. So I can use almost all of this up. I don't know the pattern yet, just because I haven't pulled out my pattern book. I think it's going to be something lace. I know it's going to be something lace because the Just One More Row podcast this month, the focus is lace socks. So it has to be something lacy to qualify for that knit along. And I am proud to say I have done the last 6 months. I am on the ball with that. So this will be something for that, but I haven't quite figured out what because it has to be lacy. So, and I just haven't pulled out my pattern book yet to find a lace pattern that I can zoom on and get it in my brain and I can do it while walking. So that's what's going on there. I'm sure you'll see it next week. It'll happen. So Also, I will tell you, no spinning has happened. I'm a complete and utter spinning failure this week just because I felt like I was so focused on getting product dyed up. I'm not doing Tour de Fleece, obviously. Just not happening. And I'm okay with that this year. This year needs to be the year I'm okay with a lot of things not being quite what I wanted, but that's how it is. However, Master Knitter happened. You want to see? This swatch is going to be a hodgepodge crazy pants swatch. So let's start with that. So for my next 3 swatches, I have to do buttonholes. And you have to do them in a 1x1 rib, a 2x2 rib, and in seed stitch. So what I did was I pulled out one of my books and I said, okay, I am going to do the buttonholes that you have in here on these 3 fabrics. And I'm going to see what I like. So that's what I did. I pulled them out and I worked just the different buttonholes in one book. And I made notes as I did them in the order that I did them. So I would know, okay, I don't like this buttonhole in seed stitch. It's okay, but it's huge. Like, it looks like a giant monster that's going to come and eat you. I don't like it. This one down here is really bad too. Like, see that? I don't like it. It's all floppily, and the bottom's okay. The top is just bleh, bleh, bleh. So, anyways, I played with the buttonholes out of this book. I'm going to bind this off, and I'm going to stick it in the book, and then I'm going to pull out one of my other reference books, and I'm going to do the same thing. This gives me a chance to say, okay, I really like this one, I don't like that one, and I like this one for each of my fabrics. And then I can come back and make the real swatch for my Master Knitter stuff. So this is my hodgepodge craziness, but I'm really happy with it because it answered questions for me. And I know it sounds silly, it looks kind of silly, but you know, that's a couple hours of playing around and reading. I'm okay with that. So, the only other thing I have to share with y'all right now is, well, that's all of my knitting stuff, is kind of some group news. So I thought I'd share with you my crazy pants idea. I have a thread that I've started. It's called Christmas Countdown, and it's in the Ravelry group. So if you go on in there, I kind of explain part of this, but I'll explain it here too, so you know to come play with me. What I want to do is, Christmas is coming. It comes every year. Part of us try to ignore it until like December 1st, and then we scramble like crazy, and we want to do stuff, but we never get them done. And that includes me. Every year I think, I really want to make some homemade vanilla. And I think about it about Thanksgiving. And from what I'm reading, that stuff takes like 3 to 4 months to actually be good. And the longer, the better. So, what I did was I started a thread that's called Christmas Countdown. And I want y'all to come post, what do you want to do for Christmas? And it doesn't have to be fiber related. So you want to knit hats? Great. Come and tell us what you want to do. You want to do some sewing? You want to do some baking? What do you want to do? Come post that in the thread. And then as you do it, come back and share with us. So that way we kind of get an idea of, hey, that worked. Anybody have Pinterest fails? Right here, I've had some of those too. So we know though, hey, this really worked. That really didn't work. Or this is amazing. You guys all have to try it. So that's kind of my thought process, is you post what you want to do. You come back and tell us how it's going. So let's say you want to knit 5 hats. So you post in the group, I have 5 hats I want to knit. And you can even link your hats or not. You can tell us who they're for or not. No worries. And then let's say in 3 weeks from now, you buy the yarn for 1 hat. Come tell us you bought the yarn. Whoa, that's a great thing. Come back and show us the picture of one of the hats. The thing I am going to ask is, can you link put it in your project page if you're doing hats or knitted things like that. Not hats. If you're doing anything knitted, put it in your project page so we can find it. If you are baking, can you share the recipe with us? If you're wanting to do some, sewing craft, link where you got the idea from, or say, hey, this is the pattern. Just tell us so we can all kind of share together. And the other thing I'm going to do though with this thread is on the 25th of every month, starting this month, so you have, 2 weeks-ish? On the 25th, I will draw a name randomly from the thread, and I will gift y'all a prize. I don't know what it's going to be yet because I'm not that organized yet, to be honest, but I'm going to gift you something. It could be a pattern, it could be a skein of yarn, it could be some fiber, it could be just a little care package. I don't know yet. But every month I will gift you something. It'll be something kind of, I'm hoping somewhat personal, but something that's for you. So the more you chat and the more you share, the more chances you get to be drawn on the thread. Does that make sense? If not, ask questions. I'm hoping I explained that well enough. My little crazy brain is on overload. I'm looking at all the stuff I have to pack this afternoon. So, that's all I have to share. I hope that you've had a great week. All my contact information's at the end, so if you have questions, don't hesitate to holler. Otherwise, I'll see you post Fiber U. See ya!